Hey, everybody, guess what? I'm alive. I'm live. Oh, boy. A lot to bullshit about. You got this Minneapolis situation, and that's because they made fun of him when he was talking about, and J.D. Vance was talking about during the election, that the Somali population in Minneapolis and in Minnesota was eating their pets and whatnot. The disgusting bullshit that Trump is always throwing out to distract people from the facts. Okay, and you know even Hitler didn't have to distract as much as Trump does, because Trump, you didn't have the internet, you don't have the immediately social media you had, but the similarities to Germany in the time is that you have a great deal of white nationalism, and that surprises people. Look, my mother, skin color, she was Irish, and that's where her skin color. She was a redheaded Irish lady named Shay, maiden name Shay, and I'm telling you right now that she taught me that. She said to me, she says, Jeff, and I think she was like 60 or something at the time, not even that, probably a little younger than that. And she was telling me, she says, your father sort of protected us from a lot of things. She says, I grew up with the Native Americans out in Pennsylvania for a long time, not my whole life, but a good portion of my life, she said. And one of the things I learned is that we can't survive by ourselves. If you look at history, the soldiers that fought most of the Indians, not the big battles, but fought them every day, were black soldiers called buffalo soldiers. They were the ones required to do that, and they weren't nice to the American Indian, but they were the soldiers that did a lot of the combat there. You had the what the hell was that Air Force unit's name? Not Red Wings. Was it Red Wings? I don't know, but there was an Air Force unit that protected bombers going into Germany in World War II, and it was an all black unit, and they never lost a plane. Never had a plane shot down if they were protecting it. So maybe people say, well, it was later. No, it wasn't later in the war. They were just that good, that determined to prove that they were that good. Okay? Vietnam, black soldiers were always put in very precarious positions because there was still segregation. I talked to a lot of those guys that came back when I was in basic training, and I ran into them when I came out of basic and stayed. They still on post at Fort Dix. They slept with guns under their pillows. And I said, what, was the Viet Cong that dangerous? He said, no, man. It was the white people. He says there was a lot of segregation in the Army. There still probably is. I don't know. I don't know anybody who's in the military. At least I don't think I know anybody who's in the military right now. Uh, but black people have to live, and white people have to live together. This world cannot survive. The United States cannot survive by being a white supremacist country. South Africa tried it, it didn't work. Okay, apartheid did not work. Although Musk swears it was a better form of government and he'd love to see it come back, because Musk is about as white as a sheet, and he's just, well, when he's high, it depends on whether he's high or not what he thinks. But he's a drug addict that's managed to become the richest man in the world by being evil incarnate, not caring about anything. He's another one that doesn't care about anything but himself. You know, uh, he's got all these kids out and down in Texas now, where he's building a little community where his wives live and everything like that. That's just, I don't want to discuss that. That's just so medieval. It's not even funny. Um, but that's Musk's. He may be smart at some things, but he's best at acquiring things. And now he's got the money to acquire whatever he wants. And because it's him, it has a tendency to wow, I'm bleeding. Has the tendency to boost it for a little while, until they realize he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. That's a very common theme with him and Donald. They don't know what they're talking about a lot, so they're not the greatest. Uh, they're not the best people in the world to take in as mentors or anything like that. So uh, that's that. Um, what else can I say to you? I mean, that's just Trumpy doing his thing. Now we're looking at martial law. All right. Now martial law restricts you. You lose all your basic civil rights. You don't get the right. He can change. He can cancel elections. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. And he's looking at putting this Insurrection Act in. And I don't know whether he can do the same thing during the Insurrection Act. But the Insurrection Act allows federal troops to go into cities and police them when there's a threat to national security. The only threat that I see to national security is Hegseth and Trump. They're the ones that are going around mouthing off details of operations before they happen, giving full details of operations after they happen, which just shouldn't be made public. He Trump can't help himself. You know, uh, Nobody knew about Bin Laden's operation until the public didn't know about our units going in, the SEAL Team 6 going in to kill Bin Laden until after it was done. It might have been minutes after it was done, but not till after it was done. That's the trick, okay? That's how you make successful operations. Trump doesn't believe that. Trump is just an idiot by anybody's standards. He has a big mouth and a small dick and small hands and everything else like that. There goes my wife. I she's just she's having a real hard time. She can't walk really, um, and she thinks that there's a miracle out there, and there isn't. And she won't do some of the stuff that might help, like rehab and stuff like that. She injured her foot. Now that's just an excuse not to do anything. But she's starting to walk around the house a little bit more. So maybe she'll improve. We don't know. I hope so. Because right now her sisters are staying with me. One's leaving to go to the doctor herself, and I'm hoping she's all right. And she's not really 100%. And the other one is not one I love her, but I'm not real fond of her husband. You know, he's an idiot and stuck with him as a brother-in-law. And I'm not real happy about that either. All right. I don't have a lot to talk about other than that, really. Let's see, what did I talk to about that? The Insurrection Act. Uh, Facebook's out trying to. I don't know what they're trying to give away subscribers and info to the Justice Department so that they can investigate people because of their opinions. And this is. I don't know if a Germany type situation where the country becomes totally fascist is really feasible because we have such diversity in this country, which is Trump's trying to do away with because diversity is hard to govern. You have to appease a lot of people. If you're just appeasing white people, it's a lot easier, you know. People don't understand that. People don't realize the difficulty in governing a country, 300 million people with 300 million different points of view, possibly 300 different points of view. you're subjected to the whims of politics, which go the winds of, and I mean that's like the winds of politics, really, which can go one way one week and the next week go the other way. Uh, people are alarmed by the second shooting that took place in Minneapolis, I guess last night or something like that. They say the guy attacked the officer. There's not a big uproar about that, so maybe that's possible. But they're not. I think that in itself is a distraction from the case about the woman, which was outrageous. That she got three times shot three times in the face for what? Because the guy was scared shitless because he'd been dragged once before and got hurt. If you get dragged and that's PTSD, that guy shouldn't have been on the front lines. He shouldn't have been stopping motorists. That's just stupid. But that's what's going to happen, and he might have been put out there just to cause problems. That's just to get to do something stupid and get an uprising going. Trump wants an uprising. Trump wants to do martial law. Trump wants to be able to walk into your house and shoot you if he doesn't like what you say. All right, he hasn't got the balls to do that himself, but he'll send somebody in who's dumb enough to do whatever they're told. And the military should understand this. The people that are going around doing these atrocities, when this is all over, it's going to be like Nuremberg trials, okay? It doesn't make any difference who wins. There are going to be people tried for atrocities. When that happens, they're going to get executed. They're not going to get jail terms. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it's going to operate. All right, listen. Guess what tomorrow is? Numero 80, año por mí. 80. Yeah, no big deal. I've I read some articles and stuff. You read these articles and say, if I'm able to do these things, I'm doing pretty well. I can get up in the morning. I can dress myself. I can go to the bathroom myself. I can shower myself. I can make my own breakfast. I walk my dog 3 times a day. So I guess I'm doing all right. I don't do it pain free, but I guess I'm doing it all right. All right. So listen up. I'm cutting this one short because I have company in the house right now, and I don't want to be rude. I do, but I can't. So I'll see you tomorrow on my 80th, and we'll talk some about old age and whatnot. Maybe we'll see. In the meantime, try to find that subscribe button, hit it, because I'm really a nice guy. I'm fun sometimes, even. All right, I'm good looking. You can't, listen, dude. Women, if you're out there, I'm good looking. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. That's it. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.